Hi everyone, we're going to be collecting and freezing leaf samples to use later. For this experiment, I'm going to use a bean plant. You will probably be using soybean plants or maybe some other plant, depending on what we are growing that year, but the process is the same regardless of the plant. So here we have a styrofoam container of dry ice with the lid on. It's important to keep the lid on it to keep the dry ice from dissipating while you're working. It also helps keep your samples colder. We have a balance here, which I've already turned on. We have some cryo tubes here. And what you want to do to start is label your cryo tubes. So here I've got one that's already labeled. I've labeled the top with my initials. And the reason I want my initials on the top is that when we put it into the -80 freezer, they will go into boxes like this. And all you'll see is the top of the tube. And this makes it easier for you to grab your tubes and differentiate it from everyone else's tubes. So we'll take that back out. And then on the side of the tube, there is this frosted panel where you can put the number of the tube and the treatment. So here I've got tube number 4 and HL for highlight. So I'm going to be working with a highlight plant and putting a highlight sample in here. So we'll put this to the side for now. So you can take the lid off your balance and put your weigh boat in, put the lid back on, because I find that the air currents in the room can really disturb the balance. And you can just drop your samples through the hole in the top of the lid. So press the 0 button to zero it with the weigh boat on it. You might find it might take a couple of presses to get it to 0. Okay, so that looks good. We'll take our razor blade and we'll take a leaf. You want to remove the large veins from your sample. So this is the top of the leaf and this is the bottom of the leaf. I find it's easier to see the large veins and cut around them if you look at the bottom side of the leaf. So we're going to put it bottom side up. Take your razor blade and then just cut along the main veins. I'm going to cut this damaged area out. I don't want to use that. Oops. Don't want to lose that piece. Okay. So once you have the bigger pieces cut, you can cut them into smaller pieces. And the smaller pieces will fit more easily into the cryo tube. Okay, now you can take your tweezers and transfer your pieces to the weigh boat. And you want 120 to 130 milligrams. Yep, looks like I might need another little piece. Okay, so here you can see we've got 0.120 grams or 120 milligrams. So before we do anything else, I'm just going to, and you might find it fluctuating a bit. You can let it settle. You could even, if you're worried about more air vents, you can maybe cover the little hole up top and just let it settle. So now it looks like it's settling at 121. So I'm going to write that on my tube. So my very messy writing. So tube number 4, highlight treatment, 121 milligrams. I'm also going to record this on my table. So here we have tube number 4, again, my initials, highlight 100, and I will write down the mass. And now it seems to have changed again. Okay, it's good. Sometimes I find these scales take a while to really settle in. So now we can take the lid off, take your sample out, and you want to quickly transfer your sample, use your tweezers, and transfer your leaf sample. They can stick together, so just be as quick as you can. Oops. Make sure you don't lose any pieces, because that'll throw your weight off. Okay, now you want to cap it tightly. Make sure you press it till it clicks shut. And now you want to open up your dry ice. And you want to take your tube and you want to bury it in the dry ice. So here you can see I've already got a bunch of samples already on the dry ice. You want to bury it in the dry ice so that all the sides, the bottom of the sides of the tubes, are covered and surrounded by the dry ice. It's okay to leave the top exposed because you'll be able to find your tubes and pull them out quickly, but just so long as the bottom of the tube is covered with the dry ice and surrounded, it will ensure that your sample freezes as quick as possible. So once you put your sample in, make sure you put the lid back on to keep your dry ice from evaporating, and then you can move on to your next sample. Once you've collected all the samples you need for the experiment, you can tell your TA, and your TA will come and take your samples and store it in the -80-degree freezer until you need to use it. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching.